Welcome, focus learners, to today's Explainer. Today we're taking what might look like totally isolated daily news stories and weaving them together into this really fascinating broader narrative. We're talking economic development, human empowerment, international policy, the whole shebang. It's incredibly cool to see how hyper-local grassroots movements can actually mirror massive global shifts. Let's get right into it.
Okay, let's kick things off with a bit of a brain teaser. What on earth could possibly connect a rare, highly nutritious Indian rice, incredibly aromatic agarwood trees, and historic, groundbreaking changes to criminal laws in the Middle East? I mean, on paper, absolutely nothing, right? But as we unpack the data today, you're going to see this incredible shared theme of transformation. Whether it's a farmer in Uttar Pradesh watching their crop value completely skyrocket or an entire nation overhauling its human rights policies, these are all just powerful examples of progress in policy in real-time motion.
So here's our roadmap for today. First, we'll look at India's local agricultural booms. Then, funding global education. After that, India's cultural diplomacy. And finally, a historic human rights milestone.
All right, let's jump right into Section 1, India's local agricultural booms.
Seriously, just think about the sheer scale of this economic jump for Kala Namak rice, which is primarily grown in Siddharth Nagar, Uttar Pradesh. Between 2018 and 2026, the sale price literally went from 40 rupees all the way up to 150 rupees per kilogram. That is a massive profitability jump for local farmers, and it's not just the price tag that went up either. Production actually expanded more than 5 times over that same window. Talk about a boom.
So, what's driving this explosive growth? Well, Kala Namak rice isn't just your average staple. It's this traditional, non-basmati aromatic variety that's absolutely packed with nutritional value. Its massive success is actually a direct result of government backing, specifically the One District, One Product, or ODOPE initiative in eastern UP. But wait, it gets better, because the recognition isn't just local. The UN FAO, the Food and Agricultural Organization of the United Nations, officially recognized it as a specialty rice of the world. Having that global stamp of approval, that's exactly what transforms a local crop into a highly profitable export.
Let's pivot over to India's northeast now. This region absolutely dominates another booming agricultural sector, agarwood. Out of an estimated 139.89 million agarwood trees across the whole country, the distribution is insanely skewed. Assam alone holds 114.3 million of them. Agarwood, if you're not familiar, is this incredibly valuable resinous aromatic wood, mainly from Acalaria species, and it's highly sought after all over the world for perfumes, incense, and agarwood oil.
So how do you capitalize on that kind of natural monopoly? Well, policymakers recently gathered in New Delhi to figure exactly that out. The Chemicals and Allied Products Export Promotion Council, better known as ChemExCEL, teamed up with the Ministry of Development of Northeastern Region to host a dedicated industry summit. The entire goal was to map out the prospects and export potential of agarwood oil from India. It's a textbook example of connecting raw, regional agricultural dominance with a highly coordinated national export strategy.
Moving right along to Section 2, funding global education.
A nation's growth isn't only about exporting physical goods like rice and oil. It's just as much about empowering human capital. And the magic number here is 580. That represents 580 scheduled caste students who receive financial backing to pursue higher education abroad through the National Overseas Scholarship Scheme between the years 2019-20 and 2025-26. We actually saw a huge spike in the 2023-24 period, which logged 114 student beneficiaries all on its own. It's just a phenomenal, direct investment in social mobility and building global expertise.
Now, to make this scholarship much more accessible, and honestly, just way more efficient, the administrative side of things got a major upgrade. The National Overseas Scholarship Scheme has been seamlessly integrated into the Samavesh portal. If you're not familiar, Samavesh stands for the Single Access Mechanism for All Verticals of Empowerment and Social Harmony. By putting the application and selection processes into one centralized hub, the government is making it so much easier for students to access these life-changing international opportunities. It really streamlines the whole thing.
All right, let's head into Section 3, India's cultural diplomacy.
So, empowering students abroad is definitely one way to build the global presence. But how does a nation project its actual heritage on a massive scale? Well, look at this number, 98. Through the Ministry of Culture's Global Engagement Scheme, India currently maintains valid cultural exchange programs with 98 different countries.
I mean, wow, that is an immense scale of diplomatic outreach. It's specifically designed to promote India's heritage, its incredible diversity, and its contemporary cultural traditions across nearly half the globe.
To manage all of this, the Global Engagement Scheme, or GES, acts as this giant overarching framework for international cultural relations. And to keep everything organized, it operates through 4 very specific pillars. Ready? First, there's the International Cultural Exchange Program. Second, Project Mawsum. Third, Brihadar Bharat. And fourth, the Scheme for Safeguarding the Intangible Cultural Heritage and Diverse Cultural Traditions of India. Breaking it down into these 4 buckets ensures that everything, from physical artifacts to intangible spoken traditions, is protected and showcased. And here's the really crucial part. This cultural projection directly reinforces geopolitical strategy. The GES isn't just about funding a one-off art exhibit here and there. It strategically supports India's active presence in massive multilateral forums. We're talking major global stages: BRICS, the G20, the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, and BIMSTEC. By weaving this cultural diplomacy right into major economic and political summits, India really solidifies its comprehensive presence on the world stage.
And finally, Section 4, Historic Human Rights Milestone.
For our final segment, we're zooming all the way out from diplomacy to international criminal justice, and this is truly groundbreaking regional news. Lebanon has officially become the very first country in the Arab world and the wider Middle East to formally abolish the death penalty. In a region where capital punishment has historically been such a standard, ingrained part of the legal framework, this represents a massive, unprecedented shift in criminal justice and human rights policy.
Let's contrast the legal realities of this reform. The old policy of capital punishment has been completely scrapped. Under the new Lebanese law, the maximum penalty is now life imprisonment with aggravated hard labor. It's definitely worth noting the political dynamics at play here, too. This major reform successfully passed by a majority in parliament, even though it faced formal opposition from Hezbollah's parliamentary bloc. But regardless of those internal political debates, the resulting legal overhaul marks an absolute, definitive turning point for the nation's justice system.
Wow, we have covered a tremendous amount of ground today. We started with the soaring value of Kala Namak rice in Uttar Pradesh and Assam's incredible agri-wood dominance. Then we transitioned to the digital streamlining of global scholarships, explored India's expansive cultural diplomacy across 98 countries, and wrapped up with Lebanon's historic legal reforms. So I want to leave you with this final thought. From local economic booms that empower regional farmers to historic human rights reforms that literally change the identity of an entire region, which of these policy shifts do you think will ultimately have the most profound global impact? Think on that. Keep analyzing the world around you, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.